I feel Colourpop is trying to drown us and themselves in their own mediocrity, and frankly, I'm tired. Hi friends, thank you for watching. My name is Mia and this is my virtual vanity, a place where we both love makeup and we're quite critical of it. Today, I want to do an anti-haul because these brands have nothing but the audacity. They've been coming out with some stuff that is so out of left field that they're begging to be dragged by myself and, you know, the rest of the beauty community. First, I'd like to thank JAna Luisa Jewelry for sponsoring this wonderful anti-haul. Let me tell you a bit about JAna Luisa Jewelry. They are one of my favorite jewelry brands because they make beautiful pieces that are also sustainable. They try to offset 100% of their carbon emissions, and they make beautiful pieces with prices starting from $39. So they have something for everything there. And they're made with noble metals, high quality stuff. I really enjoy their stuff, especially because they're so dainty, you know, they're really timeless jewelry. JAna Luisa is currently having a Black Friday sale. They'll have wonderful offers all throughout the month. I'll leave my link down below. Please use my link if you want, but if you don't wanna, that's again perfectly fine, but I do suggest checking them out. They sent me 3 pieces this time. The rope ring slim. I have the rope ring bold and I really love wearing that on my thumb, and it's nice having a slimmer version to wear on my regular fingers. They also sent me the Hazel earrings. I love the star celestial pattern with them, and in a set of coincidence, I also received the Rosa moon necklace. So I feel like a very celestial fairy type of person at the moment, simply because of all of these beautiful star moon patterns. Without further ado, let's get to dragging. Let's first start with Colourpop because there's so much stupid, mediocre Colourpop stuff. Honestly, I feel that we are witnessing their fall from grace in real time. They used to make such beautiful, unique things, and nowadays it's just mediocre palette after mediocre palette after mediocre palette. They really should have taken the time during this, you know, extraordinary times that we're living in and refocus, regroup a bit, and you know, make Colourpop great again. Let's start with this new holiday palette that's been sneak peeked. There is nothing holiday about this. It's the same tired, same old Colourpop shades with an added khaki green. And if it's the khaki green you want, just grab a single. I really like the khaki greens from Sydney Grace. I know NYX has some shimmery khaki greens if you're interested. Kaleidos has a full khaki green palette. Like, Colourpop probably has actual singles that are khaki green themselves. But truly, it's ridiculous how they keep repeating the same shades, the same things. They just package them in a different way to get our money. And yeah, okay, you can argue that it's cheap, but $12 is still $12. You could still go eat like a Taco Bell or something with $12. And it adds up. If you have $12 of the same palettes over and over again, it still could potentially add up to tens or hundreds of dollars of repeated shades and dupes upon dupes.
Forgot to mention, I am also pissed that it does not match the name or theme at all. What is boudoir about this? What is noir about this? It looks like they're creating the palettes separate with a color randomizer and then giving them names through a title generator.
One of their more interesting releases is this dark blooms triad of palettes. You've got Baroque, Grandeur, and Ornate. These remind me a lot of a very specific type of still life painting that I see the Dutch doing a lot. The problem is that the execution again is quite lackluster. So they've got this beautiful packaging and then these tones that I don't particularly enjoy because they're very sooty, very dark, very one note. so to say. I feel that I would have loved this release more if it wouldn't have been through a flood of other releases. I would have loved them to do one of these Still Life collections. So have everything centered around this style of Still Life. The packaging is the same. You don't need 3 palettes, you need maybe 1 palette and lip products, and just a collection that is really well thought of and evocative and artsy, instead of just changing the packaging for fuck's sake. We're all tired. I see these as being more unique, but unless you wear darker tones than the regular, I would not recommend them. This is why I'm anti-hauling them. I don't wear dark tones on the regular. If you're the neutral type of person and you want the neutral palettes, think if you maybe already have those neutral tones in your collection already, the packaging is pretty, but do you really want to spend $12 just for pretty packaging? You can print one of the works of the guys of the artists I mentioned before and slap them on a palette. It's as easy as. You don't need to buy a new palette from Colourpop for that. Let's talk about mmmmitchell, however many M's he has in the name, brand, which screams done in Jeffree Starship's warehouse. If he wasn't the one to do it, maybe it was Beauty Bay, because also their palettes look a bit similar. But dear God, I feel like I need financial compensation for the pain inflicted upon my eyes by how ugly the packaging of this collection is. Just incredibly horrendous. What is up with that green camo? And inside too, so you can't tell the differences in the tones. All you can see is this gaudy pattern that makes your eyes bleed. I really dislike how this whole thing is designed top to bottom. I dislike the neon green packaging, but that's a matter of taste. What's not a matter of taste is that ugly ass palette packaging that is objectively ugly. Why am I anti-hauling this? It's a plague upon my eyes. Why I think you should be anti-hauling this is because it's a new brand. If you are an mmmmitchell fan and you want to support him, fine, but if you're not one of his fans, I don't think that any of these palettes are anything that special, truly. That, and they're a bit of a wild horse. You don't know the formula, you don't know how they'll keep, you don't know how they'll apply, and most reviews got that palette in PR, so you know they will be biased. Natasha Denona is yet again asking for a kidney, our firstborn child, a blood sacrifice, for another one of their her new palettes, and this is the Chrome palette. The catch with this is that it has a row of 3 multi-chromes and then mattes that kind of go with that multi-chrome. The problem is that it's 125 palettes for novelty shades. Now, don't get me wrong, I love me a good colorful eyeshadow look, but you're never going to get $125 worth of your money out of that palette. You are never going to use it enough unless those are the only colorful shades you use non-stop. It's not worth it. Honestly, the best thing would be to browse the score of indie sites that offer multi-chromes, and if you're feeling a little lost, go to Back to the Brows, Millie's channel. She's the multi-chrome queen. She'll steer you straight. Grab some multi-chromes that you actually like. You don't need to spend $125 from the start for Natasha Denona's multi-chromes. What bothers me is also that this palette looks different every time someone posts a new picture about it. Trendmood's pictures look different, Natasha's pictures look different, other pictures from other people look completely different. I don't know what this palette looks like in real life, and it's bothersome because why are you editing your swatches if you've got nothing to hide? If it were her $65 price point, even though it would still be obscenely expensive, and like asking for like a quarter of my liver, not the whole, you know, organ on the black market, I would be more understanding because like those are her prices. But for her to be coming with a novelty palette with mattes that don't have enough depth to go to more dark, deep skin tones, mattes that have undertones that might not look good on everyone that buys it, it's the audacity for me. Ciate is coming out with this little Miss Piggy collection, and it's just, they will collab with any senseless thing. They just do the most random collabs with things that are not alive, that we are supposed to look at as beauty icons. Why are you not collabing with a creator? Why do you keep collabing with stupid ass intellectual properties and lining up the pockets of more corporations, which, you know, businesses will do what businesses will do. They don't ever actually care. Even if they would pick a creator, they would pick it based on profit alone. But it's just that it's just so random. Their latest collections have been mediocre, they flopped, they based it all on the IP and none on the formulas. I've heard the formula of their Jessica Rabbit palette was just shit through and through. It's just they keep trying to hit the mark and make people in fandoms give them their money. What I see it is like this, and Emily Hanhan and Audra at Home had a really great discussion about makeup as merch. If you participate in a fandom, you are essentially creating something. You are either creating discussion, you are creating fan fiction, fan art, you are basically being iterative, you are adding to the conversation. It is a much more worthwhile pursuit than to simply buy merch. Merch is stale. Merch does not add to your experience, to your understanding of the intellectual property. Merch, in a sense, is the lowest common denominator in appreciating something that you love, which isn't necessarily bad. Like, I've got a lot of merch for stuff that I love, but unless you need more makeup, something more satisfying for you would be to engage with the content creators in the Muppets, is it? Fandom, than to buy a Miss Piggy mirror and mediocre makeup. Speaking of IPs, their makeup revolution is just added with these collabs. So the first collaboration that they have is with Friends, and it's their Take 2. I talked about the Take 1 collaboration in my other anti-haul, and it's so ugly. It's truly so ugly and so random. I understand that it references some things in the show, but it just seems like a slap hazard combo of whatever neutral shades they found in their warehouse that they have to get rid of. It's just, if you take away the packaging, nothing about it says Friends. If you remove the Friends logo from it, 3/4 of it, again, does not say anything about Friends. It looks like toys, not proper makeup, and I do feel that it would have been a much more efficient way to go about this, a much more aesthetic way, something that is sleeker, prettier, not 100 palettes, not 100 glosses, not 100 items of makeup merch. A little capsule collection for each character would have been great, but no, just cheap stuff all around. They also have these Disney Princesses palettes. They've got Tiana, Belle, and Cinderella. I really like Tiana's version because they try to be respectful and they really put some darker shades in there, shades that would work on darker skin tones. The problem again is that it just looks so cheap and ugly, and it's just, you have so much Disney merch on the market. There's a lot of stuff that is Disney themed that actually looks fit to use for grown-ups. I would buy this maybe for a niece or my little sister. I wouldn't buy this for myself. It's cutesy, yes. Do you need it? Definitely no. Honestly, if you want to get Disney princess stuff, get yourself something more useful than a palette that's just gonna sit and collect dust. This is too big, man. You've got an eyeshadow palette that is also a face palette, and it's all together, and you can't have one or the other, and it's just a tabletop style of thing, which I really dislike. I would have loved them to come up with separate things, you know, like one highlighter, a blush palette, a little 9-pan palette, something that was tinier, something that would let people decide actually what they want to use. Because if you like just the blushes, you're stuck with those eyeshadow pans. If you just like the eyeshadows, you're stuck with the blushes. Maybe something doesn't work for you. Maybe you like the formula of their face products and not of their eye products. They're just forcing you to buy so much product at once in one, and that bothers me. Let's talk Scott Barnes Beauty. I have no idea what this man is doing. It's just, he keeps coming out with the tackiest tacky shit he could imagine in packaging form. It looks like gilded Morphe. It just looks like you tried to dress up Morphe with gold foil and with like a fancier font. He could have done something really great and luxe, and he chose this, and I do not understand why. Because his palettes are quite, you know, pedestrian. You've got a smoky eyes palette, you've got this neutral palette, and it's nothing special. It's nothing that we've not seen before. So I don't understand, why don't you make something that would appeal to people that are not your diehard fans? Because if I were Scott Barnes and if I were making a brand, I would design something that would appeal to people that are not my immediate fans. I would design something that is so sleek and pretty that when someone passes my stuff by, they would be inclined to pick it up, even if they had no idea what name was on the palette, or if they had no idea who I was. He's just trying to make a quick buck off of his fans, and he may be a allegedly great makeup artist, but he truly has the gaudiest taste for product design. Spectrum is coming out with a Pantherine collection. Palette is your standard warm neutrals. If you have been into makeup since 2015, 2017 up until now, you have this. Probably. If you don't have any neutral palette yet, any warm neutral palette yet, ask yourself, do you wear these tones? Because if you have not had the inclination to buy it until now, and you do now because it's an animal print, well, why weren't you wearing them until now? What I think is clever is that they did not come out just with a palette. They also have a brush holder, a brush set, a makeup bag, I think. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Anyway, they have objects that are not just, you know, sparkle dust. And I think that's really clever, because then people that don't need a palette might need a brush holder, might need a new brush set, might need an animal print makeup bag. You are diversifying the people that could purchase your stuff. Really clever. I don't need it and I'm not gonna buy it. I probably have everything I need from all of the categories presented. But props where props are due. Boring palette, clever everything else. The next product is gonna make some of y'all mad at me, but I am anti-hauling the Beetlejuice collection. And let me tell you what. I don't like how the palettes were done, first and foremost. The green and purple one, I feel that the purple shades are too repetitive, and for melt shade, they better each be fucking unique. And then the other palette, I'm not a big fan of the color selection. You don't need 5 iterations of red eyeshadow. You don't need 5 iterations of gray. Unless that's what you're wearing it every day. And if you're wearing every day those shades, you probably have a lot of them that aren't from this melt palette, and you don't need any more. I feel that those would have been better served as 6-pan palettes at most, and that would have made the shades much more unique in relation to each other and not as overwhelming in terms of numbers. They also have a lot of other stuff in this collection, lipsticks in crazy colors, some duochrome matte lipsticks, some eyeliners, and I think that is actually the strongest part of the collection and not the palettes, because those are truly unique to the market. It all depends on your makeup preferences, and with the lipsticks it all depends if you're wearing a mask or not. What I'm trying to say here is that I don't particularly like the execution of this. It's not my taste. It is in spirit with the show, and I like that they didn't go with the same boring old. They really should have made this smaller and more compact, in my opinion. Glamlight. Look, I am continuously disgusted by Glamlight releases because of their food packaging. So I'm already biased negatively towards them. I also feel that they're overhyped. They are one of the indie brands that I keep hearing and hearing about, and I do not understand why, because I don't feel that their products are as unique as many other indie brands that I see, and their packaging is horrendous in my opinion. I dislike this new burger palette. I actually like the colors inside. Very pretty color selection. They go well together. I can actually envision a variety of looks. I really like the color selection, but for 9 shades, is it really worth to have that bulky ass packaging? I could easily fit 3 palettes or 3 regular 9 pan palettes in that foamy burger thing. I do not understand why they insist on this huge ass dome packaging. Get it that that's their gimmick, but it's so annoying and it will occupy so much space in your vanity. So unless you plan to depot it or put it for display or put up with the fact that it will cost you in space, nah. Morphe is yet again collabing with the most problematic people they can find. There's this release with Nikita Dragun. Why are you collabing with someone that keeps staying relevant through scandals and not through any type of makeup that they do except blackface? Like, yeah, sure, she's great at painting herself another race, but that doesn't make her a good makeup artist. This whole palette is random, just Skittles thrown on a table, random ass colors, everything is ugly. But I truly dislike that they knew Nikita was in racially charged hot water, and yet they decided to collaborate with them. And it's sad that, we knew that Morphe is shady, but they keep proving that they do not give one single fuck about their clients that are people of color, and that they will continue ignoring racism until it's no longer convenient for them. And it sucks. Let's talk about something that I actually want. Damn you, Nabla, and your hold on my soul. Nabla palette, and it's a side-by-side palette, and I need to anti-haul this for my own sanity because I want this stupid ass neutral palette, despite the fact that I have 100 other similar neutrals in my collection, including from Nabla themselves. Which is particularly infuriating because I want this because of the presentation, because they presented it under this classicism, Hellenistic almost aesthetic, and I'm just such a sucker for that type of, aesthetic. It just makes me so mad because I want this, but look at it. It's a huge ass neutral palette. If you don't use neutrals every day, you're not gonna get enough use out of it. If you don't wear those tones of neutrals every day, you're not gonna get enough use out of it. If you have 5 other neutral palettes like I do, you're not gonna get enough use out of it. I would not anti-haul this if you were a type of person that only wears neutrals, or if you wanted to try the Nabla formula. Like, Nabla can do no wrong in my book. Truly no wrong, except for a few dozen the Poison Garden palette, but that's it. Their neutrals are always stunning, their formulas are always stunning, and it's just want it. Huda came out with this Naughty Nudes palette that had a shade that literally looks like an egg sack. I am waiting for it to pop and release tiny little sparkly spiders. That gel innovative texture, whatever shade, looks absolutely fucking disgusting as a texture. It literally looks like mold on 2-week-old food. I don't know what she was thinking with that texture, and it's so odd because as disgusting as it looks, it swatches boring. It swatches like a nude, a dusty rose type of color, and you subjected my eyes to that atrocity for what? For a shade that isn't even a duochrome. For what? The problem with this palette is that it dupes a lot of the shades in her new nudes, as well as her tinier 9-pan palette. A Reddit user actually swatched them side by side, and she found that like 9 or 10 shades actually matched the ones in her new nudes palette. So what I would say is, 1, don't pick it up because the corner shape looks fucking gross. 2, don't pick it up if you have the new nudes or if you have her other Mini Obsessions palettes because you're going to be paying for duplicates. You are asking for so much money for these huge ass palettes. You should give us entirely new fucking shades. I am leaving the worst for last. I am tired of brands using outrage culture and cancel culture as a way for them to make profit. Plouise created this tacky ass collection called the Cancelled Collection, featuring a palette that is so boring and so morphy that I'm not even going to try to drag it, because we all know that it's 50 shades of poop brown. Let's address...
I have a whole video on cancel culture as marketing and why that's problematic. Link below.
What they're essentially doing is two things. One, now when you search for Plouise cancelled, you're not going to first find her, instances of art theft, of using the N-word. You're going to find this collection. So she's essentially burying evidence of what she did. The second thing is that she's essentially trying to make a profit out of something wrong that she did. And that she honestly just does, it's clear that she does not feel sorry one bit. She does not feel that anything she did is wrong. Moreover, she paints social media as the main cause for getting cancelled, essentially blaming social media for how it perceives and spins things, and it shifts the blame from herself and her own actions to what people on social media do and say, on cancel culture, instead of accountability for what you say and do, and acknowledging that what you say and do, rightfully so, has consequences. She is trying to spin this as people exaggerating, people making a fuss out of nothing. You can tell that in the newspaper-like packaging of the palette. She's really trying to convince people that, oh, Plouise is cancelled because these silly pseudo woke SJWs. Which not true, man, you said the N-word for fuck's sake. You didn't properly apologize. You pulled the but I have a black whatever card, and now you're coming out with a cancellation collection. I just do not understand the audacity of some people. She had to continue being problematic because she knows that being problematic sells to a certain category of people, and she's probably going to profit a lot from this collection. And you want to know why? Because we are dumbasses and we're talking about it, myself included. We are sharing it, we're tweeting it, we're talking about it, we are reminding people of her past misdeeds. But guess what? There are people don't care, that think that saying the N-word because you have a black whatever is funny or right, and they'll be the ones buying her collection. Her fans that stuck with her will be the ones that will be buying this stupid ass collection, and her misdeeds are going to get buried in the Google search results because she called this cancelled. I hate this industry sometimes. And with that great note, my anti-haul is done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to let down in the comments down below what are your opinions on the products that I anti-hauled. What are you personally anti-hauling, or what are you buying? Don't forget to check out the JAna Luisa sale and use my link or my code if you're comfortable to do so. I really can't recommend them enough. I do love their pieces. They're so dainty and well done, and they really make me feel like a lady. One more thing before I go. Listen, if you're buying any of these products, I'm not judging you. I honestly could not care less what you do with your money. I'm just here to help. If my help isn't wanted, needed, or you disagree, I hope you enjoy everything that you got. Truly. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful evening, morning, second breakfast, third lunch, or whatever it is where you're from. Bye!